I want to talk today about the church being relevant. Being relevant. And, you know, we've been talking a lot about producing manifestation, but manifestation doesn't flow when you completely off from your purpose. You cannot try to produce the glory of God when you're living a life that has nothing to do with the purpose in which God called you for. And this is very important, because if the purpose doesn't line up with what God has called you for, then there are other things that you'll be asking to come into your life, and guess what? It won't line up with what God has called you for. Listen to me, and I hope you can hear what I'm saying clearly. Doing good deeds does not mean you pleasing God. Pleasing God does not mean I'm doing good things to people. I'm doing good things for people. I'm feeding. All those things are nice, but it never trumps or it never overrides what God has designed for your life. Do you understand? When God called you for something, you just can't do something nice and think that God is okay with you ignoring His instructions for your life and you doing something good but not doing what you're told. If you tell your child to go clean their room and they go and do the dishes, doing the dishes is nice, but I'm still holding you responsible for your room. And Christians have got to the place that I can do nice things and be nice to people, but I don't have to obey God. Obeying God is essential to you producing the manifestation of God in your life. Churches can't produce the manifestation of God because they refuse to do what God has called them to do. If they're called at all. Everybody that go to college ain't called. Everybody that can teach and preach real good ain't called. Callings come, and when you are called, there must be a certain allegiance to the one that has called you. If you don't have in your heart that I'm going to obey God, you don't have in your heart that whatever God tells you to do, it's as good as done, then there's a good chance you may be called, but you stepping in the pulpit may be premature. You understand? So we're living in a time that for the church to be relevant, the church itself, the people in the church, got to know who they are. Amen. And without you knowing your true identity, it's inevitable that you're going to mess up somewhere. Amen. Go to Matthew 25 and 31. Matthew 20. Now this passage we've read many times, but this is talking about meeting the needs of the people. And this is what the church is responsible for. Now it's just not food pantries. You understand that? The same reason Jesus' prayer in St. John chapter number 17, which is the true Lord's Prayer, all right, not in Matthew, St. John chapter number 17, Jesus said, Father, the same reason you sent me, I'm going to send them. Amen. All right? So when we look at what Jesus performed, what Jesus did, we know what is expected of us. There's nothing worse than to have high expectation from someone and to be let down. You know, don't make me believe you're going to carry something out and just to find out later you decided not to. All right? We don't want that. I want you to look at this. Somebody say, I am relevant. I am relevant. Being relevant means everything. Being relevant is I'm needed for this specific time. You cannot try to bring a gospel or a healing message or prosperity message with the mindset of the 20s or the 30s. But you need to be relevant. You have not seen an ad in a long time that has 45 WPM. 55 WPM. Now that used to be one of the highlights of the ad. But that's gone now. How many words you can type per minute is irrelevant. All right? So you have to get to the place that you understand that God is looking for someone that will obey Him not just obey him, but somebody that's going to be relevant. Meaning, from season to season, you'll do away with what's working today, won't work tomorrow. I'm willing to do away with that. I can't allow or this is what happened with older churches. They get stuck in a culture. And they get stuck in a time warp where God cannot use them anymore. I know churches right now that's just dying off. No, I'm not lying to you. Where the youngest members in their 60s. I mean, there's no life there. And you have to understand that you can't get stuck doing things just because this is what the founder did. Right. The founder is not God. Right. And the same way the founder was supposed to have heard instructions and followed them, so does the current pastor must do. So we have to become relevant. We as the people of God got to become relevant. Listen to me, black people. You cannot be ashamed of truth concerning who you are in God. Amen. We have been overly respectful of our white associates that we have denounced in some cases who we really are in God. Amen. But in truth, if truth offends your friend, you have found yourself an enemy. That's right. That's right. Do you hear me? Who we are in God have to be preached and pushed, and that's just truth. Amen. Let me tell you something. America has gone out of its way to keep your history from you. You should want to know why. You should want to know why. America have lied, cheated, did everything they could to keep black people from knowing who they are. Now, this is not a speculatory thing I'm speaking. These are just facts. Amen. Archaeologists now, in their journals, have written the instructions they had when they would dig up certain things and they would go into certain caves. They would see certain things because they had ways of putting black clay to show black people on the drawings. And how they were told to bleach it, to chip the nose off, knock the lips off. They wanted to hide the identity of black people. That was for a reason. And the reason is, when you identify with who you are, you'll start to act like it. You'll start to act like it. Every time someone comes into knowledge on who they are, and they see they don't line up with it, when they want to fulfill that thing, they start making adjustments. Yeah. If you are a leader, start acting like one. Yeah. If you are a good Christian, start acting like one. Yeah. But you need to know who you are. And start making adjustments based on who I know I am in God. Yeah. So we can't deny the truth because some people going to get offended. You better know what that scripture means. But if I offend thy brethren, pluck it out. I understand that. I hear that verse, and it's true, and we are to respect it. But if your brother is offended by truth, let them remain offended. That's right. The devil will not control us by jumping up saying, I'm offended. Amen. Amen. You understand that? Mm-hmm. Truth must ring out. Yes. Black people are the true children of God. Yes. Period. We're at the point that you can't even debate it. Right. Amen. Finding white people in the Bible is difficult. Yes. Very difficult.
Say it.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Finding black angels is quite easy.
Yes.
I said black. Listen to me. I was doing research because, I get a lot of people coming at me. I don't understand why they watch if they don't like. So I get a lot of people coming at me about my beliefs in God and how this Christianity is a white man religion. And I tell them that's your ignorance. You were educated through Facebook and Twitter. You're an idiot. You don't know anything. You cannot study Christianity and think white people made up Christianity. Right. Dude, listen, you can just use, I'm going to give you some stuff, though, that you can go home and research.
Come on.
You understand? But if you listen to the old spirituals, you know white folk ain't teach us that. Right. Jesus. We were singing stuff that was a mystery to them. Come on. Do you hear me? Come on. Right. Just old Negro spirituals. would sing when after a slave got their behind whooped for anything the white man deemed necessary, whoop them, they would sing something to recharge them.
Right.
Amen.
Hold to his hand.
Come on now.
God's unchanging hand.
Yes.
Well, you know,
Yes.
it's nothing. That was songs we would sing. That's why you don't allow your education to denounce what brought us this far.
Yes.
That's right.
Because there were songs that wasn't sung in ignorance, but we felt abandoned. And how can I sing a victorious song when the enemy got his knee on my neck?
Amen.
Songs we would sing, preachers today talking about, you see that song? That's a stupid song. Well, it's not stupid. It wasn't stupid when my forefathers was being persecuted and being denied human rights.
Come on.
One preacher said the God of Nat Turner and the God of the slave master is two different people.
Wow.
You have to come to grips with the truth. There were no Christians when this country was founded, except the very handful that knew the cruelty of whites and did something about it.
Right.
Amen.
Amen.
There's no way in the world you can call yourself a child of God and do what white folk did to black people in the history of this country.
That's true.
Amen. Amen.
You can't support Trump. Now, you know, I went a long time. I didn't know you could call his name against him, but I'm totally against him and every preacher that supports him. Kenneth Copeland and anybody else. I don't care how much money you got. When you start supporting a president, his only hope for staying in office is trying to evoke martial law so that he can ride this thing out a little longer. And you okay with it?
Come on now.
Right.
You're a demon.
That's true.
Every preacher need to rise up and say this ain't right.
Amen.
Amen.
Every idiot that would support Trump in this, and you black, and you don't see the hand of this man,
Ooh, Jesus.
Amen.
and his dislike, you're a war. You can't keep twisting everything he said.
Right.
When the looting start, the shooting start. That boy know what he's saying.
Right.
That boy know what he's saying.
Right.
The problem is the church have been praying when they should have been fighting. That's why we're in the position we're in.
Amen. Amen.
I say it over and over again. We should have never got back on that bus.
Amen.
When Rosa Parks wasn't the first off, to sit in the front.
First.
Rosa Parks wasn't the first. Rosa Parks was connected.
Right.
And that's how that thing got big.
Right.
But when we started to understand our economic power, we should have never got back. We should have bought a bus.
Amen.
We should have bought buses, and they, I don't know if they had vans, but they had them station wagons. Mama Walter had a station wagon one time. You know, you had the front seat, you get about 3 or 4 people up there. You got the back seat, you get about 5 or 6 people there. And then you had the seats in the back that face the other way.
Yeah.
No, we listen, bless Martin Luther King's heart, but he missed it. We should not have been begging to be associated with people that hate us.
Amen.
I am not mad that white folk don't like me.
Amen. Amen.
I'm not mad. They have a right not to like me. Who are you? See, this is the problem. This is what I hate about preachers. They want to create an America that looks like Christians, but they ain't Christians from their heart.
Right. Amen.
You want to make a woman keep a baby she don't want because that's the Christian thing to do.
Right.
But you mean to tell me all this other stuff don't bother you?
Right.
Huh?
Right.
You can't make me follow your laws and then call yourself a Christian nation.
Right.
God is not leading with an iron fist. If he would, a lot of white folk be dead.
That's true.
Do you hear me?
Amen.
A lot of white folk don't like you. Some of them tolerate you. They don't like you. And just because they married one of you, don't think they accept the rest of you.
That's right. Amen.
Well, you ain't got to like what I'm saying. I just got to, listen, I got to free us.
Right.
I've been called to free black people from a lot of stupid stuff.
Amen.
And if it offends white, that means you against me too. That ain't, get in line.
Teach. Right.
Get in line. But my people going to be set free.
Come on now.
I'm standing for truth. And if my truth offend you, don't ever talk to me again. But black people gonna know you one of the smartest people that ever walked this earth. Do you want to know how the pyramids was made? Let me give you this. Then I'm going to get into my lesson here. But me show you how the pyramids was made. since y'all think we not smart, we math is too hard. Pyramids was made because black people were becoming more and more like God and developed the creative power of God in their being. When you see the pyramid, you see God. That's why man can't figure it out today, because it's God. Do you hear me? Oh, y'all come on. Y'all gonna stop being dead on there with me like this? I'm gonna throw you out. Now, I'm telling you that right now. When you see the pyramids, you see the creative power of God that cannot be retained up here. If you want to, listen, let me tell all, because there ain't too many black archaeologists, and you know, that's digging up stuff. But I'm going to tell all you white folk that trying to say the white man made the pyramid. I'm going to help you out so you can stop trying to figure it out. It's at the feet of Jesus. You get the creative mind working in you, you can do the impossible. That's our heritage. That's where we come from.
Yes.
The pyramid wasn't made because somebody had a ruler and a pencil. What's wrong with you? Man, they still mesmerize. Them pyramids, the same way how God made the earth, made the beach and said, water stop.
Yes.
They can't figure it out. They can't figure it out, man. They can't figure it out how God had made certain animals to keep the earth balanced.
Right.
They can't figure this stuff out, man. There's so many things that God had and have created that man will never be. We just accept it as God. That's all we do. Accept black people as the true children of God. It is what it is. Let's get into something. Matthew 25. You can't, now I'm telling you this, you can't be ashamed of who you are.
Amen.
I love everybody.
Amen.
I have not met a Mexican that I disliked because I saw he was Mexican.
Right.
I have never disliked a white person just because they were, I've never done that.
Right.
Every individual stand on their own mark.
Yes, they do.
Now, you can't be a white person that hate blacks and then you're another white person that like their company and then want to be my friend. And you know, I listen to me. You done made your bottom already without me saying hello. When you tell me what you delight in, I know a lot about you.
Yes, that's true.
That's true.
So, and listen, let me put this out here if I get my lesson here real good. White folk can't feel like they're doing us a favor by treating us like humans.
That's right.
It's proving you human.
Amen.
Come on.
You're not doing me a favor
That's right.
by talking about something. Let's stop treating them like dogs. You saying something about yourself.
Right.
That's right.
Come on, can I tell you this?
That's right.
The knee is going to be lifted one way or another.
Yes.
One way or another it's going to be lifted. It is unhumane for you to be like sheep in line for the slaughter.
Yes.
Every black man in here, you need to know, if we don't do something to stop this foolishness, you in line. That's all.
Right.
Oh, they in the ghetto now, but they come into the middle class neighborhood.
Yeah.
And all these little black folk that think they done arrived because they got a little house, 2 cars, a garage, and a boat, better not have a jet ski. Child, they don't think they done arrived. Listen, don't think you've been accepted. You say, oh God, you know that's what bothers me with ignorant, let me talk my language, ignorant black folk that think your money made you white. Forget where you come from.
Yeah.
Because you live in the cul-de-sac. You don't think you arrived. All right, go ahead.
Right.
You better stay in the community where they know you.
Yes, Lord. That's true. Right.
You better stay where the sheriff know you, where that badge means something in your window. That's right. Listen, they got this preacher, he think he's something, think he done arrived. And the police, you know, they give him little favors and all that stuff, black guy. And but in that little community, he think he done arrived. But he better not drive 10 minutes north or 5 minutes south.
That's right.
Exactly.
Right. You're nothing. You're going to get the same treatment as the rest of us.
That's right.
All right? Nobody cares about where you live at. That police don't pull you over, they don't care about where you live at.
Right.
So be proud of who you are. I'm going to uplift you.
Amen.
I'm going to empower you.
Amen.
And any man you see keeping my company, you're going to know is about something that's right.
Amen.
Some Some of them won't keep my company though. They'll come to the church, but they don't want to keep my company. You ain't gonna be no punk, you ain't gonna be no sissy, you ain't gonna be no half a man hanging around me.
Come on now.
You can't be no man with no job.
Right.
If you ain't got no job, your job is to find a job.
Right.
You always got a job. Somebody somewhere gonna hire me.
Come on now.
You ain't be sitting there on welfare.
Right.
You ain't be sitting around there talking about something, yeah, I'm a man, and then I was beating your wife.
Right.
We'll have a meeting. Once we find out you're a woman beater, we gonna have a little meeting for you.
Amen. Amen.
We got something for you.
Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes.
When you go back home, your eyes looking like raccoons. You be all right. No. I'm not gonna allow no punks hanging around me. No woman, some man owing child support. You better not come around me. You better keep it a secret. You what? You better not talk about you got a calling on your life with child support. Because the Bible said, if you don't take care of your children, you're worse than an infidel. I can hit this while I'm already out here.
Come on.
Part of the community, in the black community, part of the problem is no good for nothing fathers. Every baby you make, that's another, you might have to take on another job. You think you're just going to make babies and the babies got to succumb to your stupid lifestyle, your dumb decision making? You freaking idiot. What's wrong with you? You're a moron. If you want to be a man, you take care of your family. No government got to chase you down. You looking for a job where they won't take no money out. Man, you're going to get slapped in your mouth. I'm going to tell you that.
Come on now.
If you're going to be a man, ain't nobody got to make you take care of your children, and your children don't have to suffer because you're too lazy to make something of yourself. Amen. That's a big problem in the black community. Sorry, no good for nothing men. Now, I would deal with the stupidity that embraces them men, but I'm going to leave that alone for another day.
That's true.
You keep your butt out the air from a no good for nothing. The man ain't got nothing. What you got your clothes off for? How does a man get your number that ain't got no job?
Come on.
That tells me too much about you.
Yes, it does.
We won't fix the black community. Stop being stupid. Some of y'all can't date nobody else in your community. Nobody else within a 100-mile radius. Nobody need to be talking to you. But they're all about nothing.
Yes.
Talk to him. Ask how long he held down his job. Somebody get, well, you know, everywhere I go, they hate black people. Black people, they ain't welcome in this country. You better let them go. I'm telling you that. I'm telling you, you're asking for some financial hardship. You're going to be connected for some joker that can't keep a job.
Right. Come on. Yes, that's true.
Don't bring him here. Yes, I want you to meet my friend. He got on flip-flop with Snow White socks on. How stupid can you be? Making excuses for some. Why you let some man drive your car and ain't got no job?
Right.
He driving you off. Well, you just a special kind of stupid.
Special.
He driving you off with and take your car, telling you something. Listen here, Joker. No, you need to take the bus.
Amen.
Broke folk, because you know you're irresponsible. Responsible men don't take on responsibilities we can't foresee, can't oversee, can't pay for. I messed up this car, I got to pay for it.
Right.
That joker think if I messed up your car, oh well. He's not responsible. You can say, man, listen.
That's true.
The mere fact that he would talk to you with no job, tell you everything about him, you going through hell if you hook up with him.
That's true.
2 o'clock in the afternoon. What you doing walking around 2 o'clock in the afternoon? You don't, listen, you don't meet no man on your lunch break unless he on lunch too.
Right.
You just walk away, you walking at 11 o'clock in the day. You work at night. A man that try to give you his number with no job ain't much of a man at all.
Amen.
I'm telling you that. Now you take that word. Now you go ahead and get hooked up with his eyes. All right, stupid. I'm telling you, stay away from these bums. And if he got one child by another woman and he ain't taking care of that child, he ain't gonna take care of none that he had with you. He's a bum. He's a loser. He need to go somewhere and be taught. And I don't want to hear nothing about, well, my father wasn't there. You know your kids got to eat, don't you?
Amen.
You might care nothing about your sorry tale daddy. So don't be hooked up with these losers.
Amen.
When you know you're a queen, you can't be hanging out with no bums.
Yes,
Come on now.
that's right.
Come on now.
I ain't even talking to the idiots that want a man in jail. You want a man with a reputation. You don't want a man with a job. You want a man that's going to bring fear in the streets. You just are dumb and stupid and idiotic as they come. I don't understand. I don't care if you don't like me. It's all right. I don't understand an idiot that would go online and date somebody that's in jail.
Right, right.
Now, it's one thing you got a man, he get locked up.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
You ain't got no man and find one in jail.
Oh, Lord.
What is wrong with you?
Yes.
That man looking for somebody he can get over. He needs an address so he can tell his parole board, I got somewhere to live. He don't find you attractive.
That's right.
I mean, listen here, boy. All he wants is somebody that's going to put something on his books. He'll tell you whatever you want to hear. Your dumb self believing it. We get out, boy, I'm telling you. When he come out the gate, you be standing there, hey! They say too much about you. You have low self-esteem. Now, if you date, I don't know if they got that. I'm sure they got them sites, because they get married. They marrying people that's locked up in jail. So I just love it. How you don't know him? How you love him? Let me get off that, because I see some of y'all. Go ahead then. Go on and we get out, you know you're gonna pop you in the head too. You ain't got no sense. It'll pop you right in your head. And Joe, listen, I don't care if he was in jail. When he come out, he has to make himself, he's got to make himself something that you would want.
Right.
Now, of course I'm not saying that. Y'all know I got a little past. I ain't saying a man been in jail, he ain't no good. But I'm saying while he in there, he can't do nothing. What's wrong with you to be in love with somebody that can do nothing for you? I'm gonna get off that. I'm talking to somebody on the line now. I ain't talking to somebody in here. Y'all can relax. You understand? Them people online. They not. Come on. I had I call her a spiritual daughter. I call her a spiritual daughter. She sent me a message and she said, you know, Pastor, I respect your opinion, but don't y'all try to investigate. She said, I'm thinking about going online today. I said, where you meet a man is irrelevant.
Right.
You can meet him online, you can meet him at the club, you can meet him on the beach, but don't you lower your standards to get a man.
Right.
Jesus. That's the difference. Oh, ain't no shit. Listen, if you think I'm single and I want somebody, you think I'm going to be embarrassed that you know I'm online? Y'all sit there and be stupid. Talking about something. I don't want nobody to put up a different picture. You go put a different picture up. No, I'm not. If you looking, you're looking. You can't keep that no secret. What's wrong with y'all? Now I'm going to tell you this is the truth. I've talked to men that's too embarrassed. They have ED, erectile dysfunction, and they're too embarrassed to get help. I said, man, you think if something was wrong with me, that I wouldn't take a pill? Give me 3 of them. 1 for breakfast, 1 for lunch, and 1 listen, you be an idiot. Right. Especially if you married. Now, listen here, let me tell you something. Y'all better stop being dumb. How you gonna ever be married and you trying to act like you ain't looking? Right. Don't you let these church folk put you in no bind, talking about something, you ain't got no business dating. I'm gonna meet somebody, know what they're about. Right. You think that joke will come up here talking about something, the Lord say this is your husband. No, we don't do that here. Right. Let me pull your credit report. I know with you what God says. Let me pull your credit report. Let's go get this car that's 0% down and 0% financing in your name. You talking about
Come on now.
Can't get no account in your name. Let me get off there. Let me move on. But I helped you a whole lot. I'm telling you that.
Yes, you did.
You hear me? I helped you a whole lot. Now, come on. Now, I'm finished my prelude. You can start the clock. Look at this. This is talking about being relevant. All right? When the Son of Man come in his glory, and the angels with him, he will sit on his glorious throne. Come on. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate the people one from another, as a shepherd separates sheep from the goats. Excuse me. He will put the sheep on the right and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those on the right, the sheep, come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. Come on. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger or a foreigner from out of town, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. See, prosperity ain't for jets and Rolls Royces. It's to meet the needs of those that's less fortunate.
Amen.
Can I tell you something? This is just the truth. And I know this for a fact. Some preachers won't even shake your hand, let alone give you something to eat. Oh, no, they'll give you something through the church pantry. But they ain't giving you nothing.
Right.
And no, you forget about a ride. Can I tell you this? Don't ever desire a car you won't let the children of God sit in.
Right.
Amen.
If you got a car that God's children can't sit in, get it out your garage right now and get rid of it.
Amen.
We'll leave that alone.
Come on.
Some of y'all ain't got, whatever you got. I ain't gonna call no names out. And then call your car out and you left the church. Ain't got but 3 people. And so some of y'all ain't got, you got a Pinto. Ain't nobody got no Pinto. I don't think I know you got a Pinto. My mom had a Pinto. Some of y'all got a Pinto and won't let nobody sit in it. Child, you think you're on the ride with that Pinto. God forbid you get a Corolla. It better not have no power windows. Some of y'all got the muscles. I see your arms getting tight. And I know you ain't working because that car ain't got no power steering. But you still think you all that in the bag of chips. Y'all learn about that. Y'all learn about them cars, no power steering. That power steering go, boy, you got to let that car roll a little bit to make it move. You ain't gonna just be turning that wheel while it's sitting still.
Amen.
I see some of y'all flexing, you're getting strong. That's because they got no, and you won't say hello to church folk now with no power steering. God forbid if you ever was to turn with one finger, you'll run them over. I needed clothes and you clothed me. I was sick and you looked after me. I was in prison. Remember, I don't know if y'all old enough to know about this, but when I was coming up, when somebody got sick, you know, the church people would go bring food.
Yeah.
Would go clean their house. You can't clean people's house now. You find some stuff you ain't supposed to see. I was in prison. Shut up, Jesus. I was in prison. And you came to visit me. Look now. Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and fed you, or thirsty and gave you something to drink? Come on. When did we see you a stranger and invited you in, or needed clothes and clothed you? Look at this. When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you? Come on. The king will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. Go ahead to 41. Now let me show you something. Here's when you know the Holy Ghost lives on the inside of you. It's not because you're jumping and shouting and flipping. The Holy Ghost lives inside of you when you have the mindset and the heart to do right and don't even know God got anything to do with it.
Right.
Do you understand? Oh, no, I'm not going to. No. If you're hungry, I'm going to give you something to eat. Right. It don't have nothing to do with whether or not God living on the inside of you. Amen. Look, these people are mesmerized. They didn't know nothing about what I was doing for God. I was doing it because it was the right thing to do. Right. I was doing it because I felt compelled on the inside to make a difference. Then when they say to those on the left, depart from me, you who are cursed, say it, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. Now I ain't gonna have time today, but I'm going to show you that the devil angels, the spirit that the devil angels had, and how it roamed the earth. You'll begin to see that in slavery time.
Yeah.
how white slave masters treated another human being, you'll begin to see the manifestation of the devil and his angels.
Yeah.
You understand that? The problem now with white folk now, you got to make sure you don't have none of that in you. Because that stuff will stay in your system.
Yes.
Did you hear me?
Yes.
Go ahead and get you a pit bull that just come out. His daddy and mama were fighters. Come out the pit, fighting, rap. Go ahead and get one of these pups and think you're just going to take the little puppy home and just pop it when you get good and ready.
Right.
Yeah. One could be. Well, I ain't going to get into that. Then he say unto those, go ahead to the next verse, please. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat, because you didn't know it was me.
Right.
You didn't know those black people, those Mexican people, those native people, you didn't know that was me.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
You didn't know that was me, did you? That I had the native people here because they would take care of my land, good stewards over my land, that other people would be able to come in and learn from them on how to take care of the rest of the world. You didn't know that was me. When you start seeing any culture of people, the ethnicity of a group of people that can do something with what God made, what God given, and turn it into something good, you'll see the hand of God. Oh, my mother was sent that she didn't know pretty much as my grandmother, but from my grandmother on back, they go into the woods and come out and heal you from whatever you got.
Right.
Do you know Carver, George Washington Carver, he said the plants would talk to him. And they would talk to him. He said, not like I hear you. He said, but something in me connects with them.
Yes.
Amen.
That's why he was so smart. And they castrated him because when he was sold as a slave, they were so afraid. White people back in slavery time was intimidated by black men. And they hated the fact that a black man's penis was 2 to 3 times, this is facts, 2 to 3 times the size of the white man's. And oftentimes they thought they gonna get our women. Who want a little wee-wee when they get women? This is facts. This is facts I'm talking.
Yes.
And oftentimes they would cut off a black man's penis because they was intimidated by him. Oh yeah, you ain't gonna read that in school, ain't gonna teach that in here.
Right. Right.
That's true.
So they castrated him because they didn't want that when the slave master had white daughters, they didn't want their daughters to see what they was packing.
Yes.
I'm not trying to be nasty. I'm not trying to be freaky. I'm telling you your history.
Right.
Yes. That's true.
So now you have to understand, people were mistreated because they didn't know that was God. You didn't know. Listen, they know. Hitler wrote in his journal that America is killing the true children of God. Now Hitler was the evilest as they come. Now you need to ask why he was that evil before you just run it down. Now I'm not uplifting him. I'm not praising him. But he didn't just wake up and hate Jews. There was a season Jews would drive by your house. If they liked it, they said, get that house there for my son. And they'll throw out whoever was in it. Get out. My son gonna move in tomorrow. You see? Y'all, listen, cruelty is cruelty.
Come on.
But you need to know all the history. That man didn't go to sleep and wake up one day and just hate Jews. That man was on a vigilante spree, is what he thought. He really thought he was curing the world of evil. That was his mindset.
Right.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm just giving you history. Don't start talking about something. Oh, he loved Hitler. Shut up.
Come on.
All right? You have to understand that when God starts doing something in the earth, there's always somebody trying to go against what God wants to do.
Right.
Hitler said, you're persecuting the true children of God. There are other Jews that have come out and said there were no pale-skinned Jews that, like we know them today, that were the children, true children of God. Dark skin. Let me leave that alone. Some of y'all look like you got on makeup or something and you're pale underneath. If I was hungry and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison and you did not look after me. They also will answer, Lord, now this is what you got to understand. Now I want to help my white friends, and so I don't know if I got any, but at this point, but all my white associates, anybody white listening to me, this is where you got to be careful, because you'll be doing things to people, and you'll be tolerating other ethnic groups, but you really don't care for them. Here's the acid test. How would you feel right now if your child, your daughter came home and said they're pregnant, and the father walked in, he's black as tar? Just tell me how you feel, you know. That's your acid test. That's your acid test. So because if you have a problem with other ethnic groups, it's going to show up. But you've been living in a way, you have been going against God and not even knowing it. I haven't said nothing wrong. I haven't done nothing to black people. I love black people. My best friend is black. My girlfriends are black. I like black food. No, but what you got to make sure, them secret conversations of the heart. Come on now. It's who you really are.
Come on now. Come on. Come on.
Then also they will say, Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or needed clothes or sick or in prison and did not help you? See, the moment you think people that look like you are the only ones that deserve what you got, you already messed up. The moment you think, what that ball player said, the only people who should have guns is high, rich white folk, whatever that fool said. Well, I'm telling you, boy, they don't know what to say. They don't know what to say. I'm telling you, boy. I'm telling you, they don't know what to say. They coming out. An apology don't change the heart of the person. Leave that man alone. He said what he said. He said, niggas want to bow down to the flag and later for him. Yeah, when they told you better get out of New Orleans while you can. You better get your stuff and get the packing. You got to go. Say the word on the street is, we're going to get you. Well, they ain't coming to apologize. You don't need to apologize. You have a right. But be true to who you are. Right. Most people can't say how they really feel. It costs too much for them. Don't y'all let other people try to make you think negative of other blacks that ain't talking right now. Because some blacks, if they talk now, they're going to ruin their career.
That's true.
Many of them said I couldn't come out when I first saw the video because I was afraid of what I was going to say. Listen, I told my wife I was just honest. And I said, you know, I know that God is doing something and then I need to transition to be what God needs me to be. I said, but sometimes I really feel in my flesh, in my mindset, is that you just got to kill a bunch of white cops in order for this to stop. That's what, why am I telling you this? There are things that will come to your mind. Right. What you do with them things will determine who you really are.
Amen. That's right.
Oh, it's human to defend yourself when you think somebody's coming for you.
Amen.
Let me fix this. Oh, man, I'm telling you. He will reply, truly I tell you, what you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me. You've been thinking somebody was less than you, and you would not help them. Jesus said, that's where I was at. You can't have justice just for white folk. You got to want justice for everybody. There is no white Christian in the Senate that don't want justice for all people. still white people in the Oval Office that call themselves a Christian and don't want justice for everybody. Donald Trump needs to be stopped because he's trying to just blow the flame of racism for his benefit. Listen, this ain't got nothing to do with Democrat or Republican. We talking about somebody that is going, his agenda will only come to pass if he can produce hate in the nation. So Jesus, in this passage, talks about you meeting the needs of people. He's talking about you seeing where you are needed and fill that spot. If you walk in fear of who God is in your life and what God really means in the earth and who really are Christians, then you can't represent God. If you see a group of people that is preaching against another group of people just because of their ethnicity, you need to know God ain't there. And we need to boldly declare, God ain't there. Listen to him. Listen to him. See, the only people that got a problem with what I'm saying is those that benefit if what I'm saying change things. See, if it changed your benefit, you don't like what I'm saying. Right. If it changed your status, you don't like what I'm saying. Right. But if you're already on the same plane, we all equal. We all the same. White people are not better than black people. White people are not better than Mexican people. If you already have that mindset, you don't mind this truth coming out. Right. If we're all the same, you don't have no problem with the truth I'm going to drop on you. What? Just don't get upset now. First thing I'm going to do to make black people know that you got to be relevant. You got to be something that's needed now. You got to be something that the world needs now. You got to know where you come from. Now let's kill this thing about Christianity is a white man's religion. All right? First off, Christianity hit Africa in 1 AD, late 1 AD, early 2 AD. All right? And I'm going to give you some facts. Christianity didn't hit Europe or in Ireland, Britain, all the European countries until 272 all the way to 330. What year did Constantine die? When Constantine died, he accepted Christ on his deathbed. And Constantine died, I think it was in 332 or 333, something like that, is when he died. During that time, Christianity was being ushered in to white folk. What African nations got it a year or two after Christ's death. Do you hear it? Now, this stuff gonna blow your mind. The gospel of Jesus Christ was brought to North Africa first, and it was brought by Mark. Mark in the Bible. Mark, one of the disciples. Mark, one of Jesus' disciples. Mark. Now, how did Mark bring it? Mark was on his way home. Mark was an African. Now, this stuff you need to study before you repeat. Don't make a jack of diamonds out yourself. All right? Mark was on his way home. Mark was an African. This is 1 year after Jesus died on the cross. 1 year, he's on his way home. Mark was from Liberia, a dark-skinned man. Now, this is what I want you to see, the lie in history. Mark was from Africa, a black man. When you start studying Mark, you start seeing how they changed him from a dark-skinned, nappy-haired man to a white, straight-haired man. They begin to change him. He transitioned from who he was. Now, how I know which one is true? All you got to do is trace the time that this picture was developed.
Right.
Who made this picture and where did they get their description from? Right. Well, you got somebody drawing Mark today. That don't surpass somebody that drew Mark 100 years ago. Right. And vice versa, and it keeps going down. Right. Mark brought the gospel into Africa first. And this is what they call in a city called Alexandria, which was on the coast of Egypt. Christianity was brought there. And Mark stayed there for years preaching the gospel. And the gospel spread like wildfire throughout all of Africa. Not just Egypt, but Liberia, Ethiopia, even till this day, the oldest Christian church that was built before the gospel even reached white people was found in Ethiopia. Right now, archaeologists have dug up the oldest church in the world is in Africa. So now you need to understand, if this is a white man's religion, how did they get it so many years after us? Now that fact can be researched. That's not Bible. That's not deep prayer. That's not fasting. That's just basic study.
Right.
Come on.
All right? All right? You have to get to the place that I understand that when the slave master brought the Bible here, he brought the Bible here because, first off, King James is the first one to take the Bible, because they had scrolls. You go into the house of God, they'll pull out a scroll like Jesus did, read off the scroll. Everybody didn't have scrolls in their house like we got Bibles. King James said, I want to make the Bible accessible to all people. So let's take this Bible and let's get it around the world. And that's how we got the King James Version, because King James put the Bible in print. You understand? And they would translate it so that the Bibles could be made and it can go all over the world. Thank God for King James. What you don't understand is the whites knew that Africans didn't have Bibles, but they had the culture. They knew when you come out of Africa, you were only one or two things, Christian or a Muslim.
Right.
Those were the only two religions in Africa. And they knew that the Christians believed in the Bible, but they didn't have one. Nobody had one till King James put it out. Africans had a culture. Our lifestyle was, if it ain't yours, you don't steal it.
Right.
If that's not your wife, you have no business touching her. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Quarrels were handled totally different. Chiefs would come together and decide what the outcome would be of your crime. Recompense would be made. If you are, you know, when the Bible talks about slavery, I'm going to touch on that a little bit, but not today. Slavery was when you borrowed money and didn't want to pay it.
Right.
They had a right to come get your children. You remember in the Bible when the widow, she went to the man of God. She said, you know, my husband was a man of God. You know, he worked in the church. He was a good man. He said, but now his debts are not paid and the creditor is coming to take my children. Gonna make them slaves. Slavery was not as what white folk made here in America.
Right.
All right? Now, I'm done, but I'm going to leave with this scripture so you can study it. Let me open this back up, because I read it before here, because the Bible talks about kidnapping people and making them your slave.
Yes.
Did you? White folk that had brought us here were not Christians at all.
Nope.
No, I mean, you need to know this. White folk that brought slaves here and what they did, they were not Christians at all. They manipulated the Bible for their benefit, but they were never Christians. Do you hear me? Now this is just truth. This is not me hating white people. All you can do is read the Bible and look at whites. Read the Bible and look at black. You see the forgiving nature of black people and all that whites done, and just look at white people. Why you hate somebody that never had nothing to do with you? Never did it. You just hate them because they're better than you, smarter than you. Why would you do that? That's demonic. All you gotta do. So black people have a culture. Let me give you this scripture. We'll put this up, and then we're gonna get up out of here. And go to Deuteronomy 24:7. This is something you can study. Deuteronomy 24:7. White folk were not Christians. That's why they were able to do something. What kind of man would have a husband sit outside the door while he raped his wife inside? Now he can't go inside or he's going to die. They're going to kill him. Do you know what kind of devil got to live in you to do that? Yes. Let me tell you something. If you think slave masters were Christians, you stupid. You can look and see how these people were behaving. And come, let me read this. Let me read this. So y'all know God ain't have nothing to do. When God talked about slavery, it's because if you owe somebody some money, you have to pay it back. And what they did, they didn't abuse the slaves. The slave had to go work their land or do whatever to make that money back.
Right.
So you borrow $100 from me, it wasn't just walking off and you don't pay nobody. No, I'll come get one of your children and I'm going to hold them until you pay. All right? Look at this. I want you to see this. If someone is caught kidnapping a fellow Israelite and treating on selling them as a slave, the kidnapper must die. Okay, y'all didn't read it.
Come on.
If someone is caught kidnapping somebody, one of my children, if somebody is caught kidnapping a black man, a true child of God, the Hasidic Jew is not the true children of God.
Right.
That truth need to ring out. Yes. They are not doing this much. Yeah, they God people. That's why they got money. They got money because they coordinated. And they got the sympathy of the world. As if everybody hates them. They're poor, they need help, but they're not the true children of God. Amen. It is what it is. Right. Now I can't not tell the truth so that you won't be offended.
Right.
If somebody is caught kidnapping a fellow black man and thinking about mistreating them or selling them as a slave, you thinking about kidnapping that black woman so you can rape her, the treating here, the mistreatment.
Yeah.
You thinking about, well, it is what it is. Homosexuality did begin on slave trip, on slave ships. It's reported that, and you know, I'm going to tell you something, it's hard to find this, and you got to dig deep. I studied this years ago. Europeans would rape the black slave. They would call buck breaking.
Come on.
They would take a strong black man, tie him down. You know you have to tie him down, because our mentality is I'd rather die than to let you humiliate me.
Right.
That mentality is coming back, you hear?
Yes.
Right.
My kids showing me some video of people knocking the hell out of police officers. If you disrespect the uniform, you need to get the hell knocked out you.
Right.
I know y'all like that. Stay home, stay under the bed. We'll call you when it's safe. Let me tell you something. They would take a black slave in front of all the other slaves, women, men, and children. And the white slave master would perform homosexual acts on him. And let all the other slaves know, you better be right, I'm going to do the same thing to you. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is not deep spiritual stuff. This is just naked history. Right. White folk history. Yeah. And white folk today got to make sure none of what your forefathers had in them is in you.
Right.
Amen. Right.
Do you hear me? Right. That's why in some black countries, if you're gay, they can chop your head off, won't even be an investigation. They just pick your head up, try to find the rest of you, and put you where you need to be. This is the true story. Gay, I want to say it was Nigeria or Kenya. Gay guy went home to see his family, and he wasn't gay when he left. He came back, he gay, and he had all that sugar in him. His mother had to rush him to the embassy because they were going to chop his head off. Don't you come here with that? Don't believe what the media show you about Africa. Only thing you know about Africa is on TV. It's a good chance it's a lie. It's a good chance it's a lie. My next family vacation gonna be in Ghana. I read some stuff. Well, first off, Ghana is begging blacks to come back and to invest. But I started reading some stuff on how Ghana live and how they celebrate their culture and their people and how they refuse to bow. Because you know what happens, let me tell you what happened with Haiti and countries like that. When they won't let a white man rule them, the world turns against them. Right. So if they sold a bag of sugar to the Dominican Republic, they sell it to them for $5. They go a few miles over to Haiti, they sell it to them for $500 because you won't bow down to me white man. Bow down to the white man, or we're going to help destroy your country. That's the problem with Haiti right now. They refuse to bow down to white people. Yes. Tell me I'm lying, God dog it. They won't let no French, no English, nobody coming up in here. This our land, we gonna rule it. They said, well, you need to know flour just went up. You need to know we are not going to help promote your country because they say Haiti got some beaches so beautiful, never seen by most humans. But you know what they put out there? Now Haiti do have voodoo in it. I remember, it ain't nothing negative. But here's the thing that you need to understand. That's the same voodoo they got the white folk out. That same drum. Now they tell us don't go to Haiti because they got the chicken feet and all this stuff and chicken blood. But that's the same chicken foot that ran you the hell up out of here. Don't believe what's on TV when they start talking about our motherland. Later for what they're showing you. The same thing in Africa is right here in America.
Yes, true.
People living in the woods, homeless, under same thing. Don't you try to make you think that's an Africa exclusive.
Right.
Africa got some places in Lagos. They said would bring Manhattan and Las Vegas to shame. Lagos, Nigeria, would bring the city to shame. That's how beautiful it is. My wife and I met a king. This king wanted us to invest in Ghana, wanted us to buy some fishing boats and different. We were sitting there talking to him. He said, son, we have motels in Ghana that's better than the 5-star hotels here in America. Don't believe what you see on TV.
Amen.
Don't believe it.
Amen.
So you know now God ain't had nothing to do with white folk taking us, raping our women, raping our men, mistreating us, selling us into slavery. God ain't had nothing to do with that.
Nothing.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
You need to understand that this is a spiritual fight just as much as it is a natural fight.
Yes. Yes.
Spiritually, the devil is after the children of God.
Yes.
You know when people can't get to you, your children is the next best thing.
Yes.
Now, you may not like what I'm saying, but I dare you to research and prove me wrong. Research some of this stuff. Because I'm saying some stuff some of y'all never heard before. So you better not repeat it until you study it. You know what? This will bother me. Y'all got y'all phones. You do Facebook, Google, TikTok, all other stuff. But you won't use that phone to do no research. Sometimes when you're sitting idle, get off Facebook and be inquisitive. Just start Googling stuff. Then that Google will lead you to a book, to another article. Now, no article can override the author of it. So when you read an article now, you have to make sure this author is 100. Like, just start doing some research.
Right.
God has nothing to do with slavery. The kidnapping of God's children and all this other stuff, God said the kidnapper must die. Remember I told you about that spirit of the devil and his angels? Well, those demons, that spirit, is what was lurking in America when they started bringing slaves in. The thing that's going to die is the same type of death Adam had to deal with, a separation from God. Now you need to understand this. You're going to see not just a physical death, not just a physical death, but you're going to see open exposure to the devil and his ideas. That's what the kidnapper is going to be subject to. Now, you may not understand what I'm just saying, what I just said. The devil and his ideas. The devil got dreams for you. The devil got a lifestyle for you. And guess what? It's going to come to pass. God is about to show up. Listen, church folk. Listen to me. Listen to me. The warriors they had to kill off when the slave ship came over, the Songhai tribe was warriors, killers. The women was battered in a green beret, like the women. I'm talking about the men now. Well, you got to understand they would have to kill them off. And the reason, and they would try to isolate them, they was good for nothing but impregnating the female slaves. Now I need to teach you something. They wouldn't let them mingle with the other slaves because they would contaminate them with that same warrior spirit. He was always isolated, always to himself. No. Y'all think it was the buck out in the field. No. They had a warrior that they would chain down. And because he couldn't be broken, he had to be killed or used to make other babies. That's all he was good for them. Because you better not put no one of them walk around with a chain. He gonna put it around our necks. Can I tell you something? The fear white people had in that time for an African coming off that ship. It was absolutely impossible for them to think we were equal the way they feared us. They knew we were dominant people. They know what we came from. So they would separate that warrior. And what we had was weaker people. Everybody's not a warrior. Everybody ain't cut from the same cloth. I can meet a man and know whether or not he'll give his life for his family. Every man saying because it's the right thing to say. But you ain't cut from the same cloth that you jump in. I already thought about it. I got to see what. If I see your neck on my wife, I'm going to kill you right then and there. I promise you that. I will murder you, your mother, your father, your whole generation if I saw your neck on my wife's neck. If I saw your meat on my wife, you are good as dead. I don't care what kind of uniform you got on. I will murder you. Everybody ain't cut from that cloth. Some of y'all got to think about it. What happened, baby? What happened? Why are you doing this to you? You little sissy. Get out of my face. If you don't see those they killed off. Those they killed off. So we were left with the peaceful ones. Those that wasn't as aggressive. Those were the ones that would pray instead of fight. Good God, y'all missing me now. Y'all, you got to catch what I'm saying here. They would pray instead of fight. Those that would fight, they didn't kill them all. They also went up. And now all of a sudden that spirit just lurked on us. When we should have been fighting, we was praying. When they sick dogs on us, we went back and prayed. When they put the war holes on our wives, on our sons and daughters, we went home and prayed. Because they killed off the warriors that can contaminate us with the same warrior spirit.
Yeah, right, yeah.
That's why black people are so forgiving and so passive toward forgiving. A black man walk into a white church, the whole church will get quiet. A white man can walk into a black church and they just, hey, God bless you, come on in, have a seat. We are so forgiving. We don't hold nothing against white folk because of their ancestors, yet white folk hold stuff against us just because we black. Yes. That's the Spirit of God that was living in us, to be forgiving, to be kind. But that warrior spirit, that was killing off. They didn't want no resistance. That's why we're in the position we're in now, because we was praying when we should have been fighting. Do you hear me? Yes. That spirit is raising up. Yes. Now listen, y'all may say, we don't want no violence. Well, then stay home. Yes. Because prayer and violence ain't going to match well. Do you hear me? Even when God had a prophet that was coming to kill God's man, God said they start killing themselves. Somebody got to die somewhere. Now y'all may sit don't like what I'm saying, think you're going to pray your way out. You can't pray your way out of everything. Some things you're going to get up and make happen. Let me tell you something. This warrior spirit is coming up, and all it needs is to be organized. You can't be reckless and just stupid. But the fact listen, every cop needs to know, no matter how much evil is in you, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. You will not kill my wife. You will not snatch her out of a car and murder her and think I'm waiting on justice to come get you. I'll find you wherever you be. Wherever you will. Listen, it don't matter what precinct you in. I'm going to get you. As God is my witness, I'm going to get you. And you know what? I don't feel no conviction when I make that statement. I don't feel like I'm going against the will of God when I make that conviction. You pull over my wife, snatch her out of the car, now she's dead, somebody will join her. Somebody will join her. I promise you that. You might as well just run up on me right from behind me and just shoot me in the back of the head. Because as soon as I find out you the one, you good as God. I promise you that. You say, you know, as a preacher, you shouldn't say this. This is the truth. This is what we've come to. Your evil will not just make me pray. It's going to make me pray, get up, and say, God, show yourself in my aim. Show yourself in my physical ability. Listen, can I tell you something? You may not like what I'm saying, but if you don't embrace what I'm saying, you could be next. White cops do what they do because there's no consequences. But when they come home and they see their wife swinging from the porch, now that sounds cruel. Don't that sound cruel? That changed everything. Even me saying that make you, oh, that's not good. That's not nice, Pastor. You saw something, didn't you? You wanted to change and you ain't killed nobody. He come home and see his wife and children swinging from the porch, everything changed. Did you just see that, the difference in that? No. Listen, everybody got a part to play. Some of y'all need to march, march. Some of y'all need to make signs, make the signs. Some of y'all need to make sure we heavily armed. Everybody we can't be doing this much. There's no time for this when they cutting up. So they say the Black Panthers are reuniting and they're starting to build chapters up back all over. And I've already talked to my wife, already talked to my kids. My name is already on there. I don't care if I'm just a janitor. I will be a part.
Yeah.
God knows I'll be a part. Now, listen to me. Don't listen to the news when they talk about Black Panthers.
Yes.
Read, you stupid.
Read.
It did more good for our community than this government has ever had. Oh yeah, we got to do something. We got to unite. Don't, listen to me. This is for my men in here. Don't try to be something that you're not. Once this hit the fan, don't try to be something that you're not. If you're not cut from this cloth, just work where you call to work. Everybody's not a killer. Everybody's not a protester. Everybody, some of you good to just protect your family. Now, I got to say this and I'm done. I'm not no vigilante. I got people hitting my inbox up, telling me about different things going on. That's not who I am. I mean, I'm going to protect my family, my loved ones. But you can't call me and start talking about something. You know, yeah, they did this to my son. Go get him. Ain't your dog. I got a family to protect. I got 2 men to raise. 2 men I got to set an example for. I'm not out here for that. You come from my son, and that's a whole other story. But you, listen to me. You got to make sure you 100 with your people. I'm sorry if everybody in your house is a punk. I'm sorry. God broke down some man's door. Y'all didn't hear about this. Broke down some man's door because somebody called and said they saw a man in the house with some guns. So they kicked in his door. Now, first off, he has a right to have guns if he has some. But the man didn't even have no guns in his house. I didn't kill him or nothing. But the mere fact they feel like they can kick in a door when they get good ready. Child, you need to have that door booby trap. When they kick that door in, 3 grenades drop on the outside. Oh, no. I'm telling you now. We love Jesus. I'm going to heaven. I'm filled with the Holy Ghost, and I will kill any cop that try to kill my wife. Now, those don't seem like they go together, but here I am.
Right.
I don't want no men in this church that you can't protect your family. Amen. You going listen, not only do you need to arm yourself, you need to be legal. If you can't be legal, then you need to leave it alone. You need to leave it alone. You just get your bat and hope for the best. No, come on now. Listen to me. I don't need you to break the law if you're going to be part of the long-term solution. Come on. Now what I said about my wife is true for an instant. That ends right then and there. I see a cop with a knee on my wife's neck. He is dead. Him and everybody that's standing around. Oh, I don't care what color you is. I'll kill you just as fast as the wind blows. Now that is not the solution long term. Because they got more guns. They gonna get you. Long term, we gotta be a little bit smart. Long term, we gotta raise our boys to be. They got to be smart with this. I don't want my son going out there just shooting and killing cops. But if they gonna threaten your family, you got to be a man. But long term, get your money right. I want to see another man in this church with bad credit. Stop borrowing money if you can't pay it back.
Amen.
You owe somebody, you pay them.
Amen.
I only want men in this ministry.
Amen.
Not no punks walking around here trying to act like you hard.
Amen. Amen.
If we're going to bring about a change, then it starts with us and who we are in our minds.
Amen.
Respect women.
Amen.
I swear to God, if I find out one of the man here got a baby and ain't paying child support, you better not.